Good morning, Big Ten fans. Welcome back to another edition of the Big Ten Morning Minutes. I'm your host, Michael Chen. You can give me a follow on the machines of Twitter at MFC2123. It is Thursday, March 14th, 2019. Yesterday was the first day of the Big Ten tournament. And wow, what a start to the tournament. Obviously, normally I don't really go into much of what happens on the court, but got a chance to watch both of the games yesterday. I'll watch as many games as possible today as well. And wow, what a start yesterday. Both the games were absolutely fantastic. Obviously, the Illinois and Northwestern game going into overtime. Nebraska pulling away late against Rutgers. I mean, you really couldn't have asked for a better start to the conference tournament. I mean, the games yesterday were absolutely fantastic. I can't believe that, if you weren't high on watching the conference tournament after yesterday, you wouldn't want to watch it again because, I mean, that was absolutely fantastic. It was very, very fun, entertaining games, and both of them came down to the wire, and Nebraska took over late. Obviously, the Illinois and Northwestern game went into overtime. Illinois blew a chance at the end of regulation to score on a layup on an inbounds pass with just a few seconds left, but still they ended up prevailing after going down a few points early in that overtime. They took it over in the second half of the overtime. But again, fantastic games and a great slate again today as it's going to get started off early here at 11:30 Central Time. You got the Hoosiers facing the Buckeyes. Shortly after that, you've got the Cornhuskers taking on Maryland, the Nittany Lions, and the Golden Gophers after that in the first nightcap. And then in the final nightcap, the Fighting Illini are taking on the Hawkeyes. So, again, another great set of games for you this afternoon. And then one news of note from the conference tournament yesterday. Looks like Charles Matthews for Michigan is tracking to play. Unsure exactly when that will be. Should be soon. John Beilein was very, he wasn't very clear as to whether he even knew when Matthews was going to be able to return, but it does look promising for Matthews, like he will either return towards the end of this tournament as long as Michigan makes it, and definitely for the NCAAs when they move on to potentially challenge for a national championship. On to the gridiron with a couple notes. Yesterday, James Franklin had his initial press conference prior to their spring practices and came off with a couple injury news notes there. Offensive lineman Juice Scruggs, who was going to compete, well, not going to, he still will compete for an offensive line job, but unfortunately that won't be happening in the spring as he's going to sit out the whole spring. He was in a car accident in the off season, so he'll get the time off to heal and recover from that injury. And then projected starting quarterback Tommy Stevens, he's going to be limited for practice this spring due to an undisclosed injury in the off season that he had. Franklin, again, very similar to how Matthews was with the University of Michigan, although different sports. Pretty much the same thing. He's getting close. He's not 100% sure when he'll return. There's a possibility that Stevens will be able to be full bore at some point in time in the spring. James Franklin just is unsure exactly when that is. And then yesterday, NFL.com's Bucky Brooks updated his top 5 at each position. We'll just go over the Big Ten players that made it. QB1 is going to be Ohio State's Dwayne Haskins. RB5, Penn State's Miles Sanders. Wide receiver 5 is Paris Campbell. Surprise, surprise, tight ends 1 and 2 or TJ Hawkinson and Noah Fant. Center guard 5 would be Michael Jordan. Defensive end number 1 turned out to be Nick Bosa. D and 3, Rashawn Gary from the University of Michigan, and the final player also from the Wolverines at LB2, Devin Bush. So that's going to do it for me this morning in the Big Ten Morning Minutes. Make sure that you catch all of the action in the conference tournament. It was a fun one yesterday. I appreciate the listen. Give me a follow on Twitter at MFC2123. Also, give the show page a follow on Twitter at 2centspods.com. I'm sorry, it's just 2 Cents Pods. And then go like us on Facebook, 2 Cents Pods as well. Have a great day, Big Ten fans.